Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. I'm here with MMAFoo and Red Wolf MMA, the homie podcast. Going to break down the UFC 314 main card. We got a banger with this one today. We got
Mm.
Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez, Paddy Pimblett versus Michael Chandler, Jean Silva versus
Oh, oh,
Bryce
oh.
Mitchell, Yair Rodriguez versus Patricio Freire, and Nikita Krylov coming back after a 2-year layoff versus Dominic Reyes. Let's start breaking it down with the Nikita Krylov versus Dominic Reyes fight. Krylov is opening up as a minus 198 favorite to Dominic's plus 164 dog
Ooh,
odds.
Mm.
A little bit crazy to me
Very, very.
that Dominic Reyes is coming one as a dog and two is such a, moderate dog. I mean, where's Krylov been? I know what's been happening, but he's been
Look,
out for
he had shoulder
almost.
surgery, I think, or he had it hurt. He was
That's
injured, but I don't know
exactly
if he had.
right.
I
That's
know he was
exactly
injured.
right. After his win against Ryan Spann, he went and got shoulder surgery. He was out for the rest of that year. He was out till, was it July of 2023. So imagine shoulder surgery and you didn't do shit, right?
mm,
No exercise, nothing with that until about June of 2024 when he started conditioning again. And then in August, mid-August, early September of 2024 is when he really started training again for a UFC fight.
yeah. So he's been out. He's been out for just over 2 years. I think that was even mentioned a few times at the press conference that we just seen. It's like, well, we understand that you've had surgery and all that, and you've been out. You're worried about ring rust, and it's always a worry because, for me, Dominic Reyes seems to be coming back. His last two fights, he won by KO. Dustin Jacoby, then Anthony Smith. I mean, yeah, you could argue that Anthony Smith won. Smith wanted to punish himself in that one and wanted to take those shots. Um, but with Krylov to come in as a favourite after being out for 2 years is very interesting, to say the least. You know what I mean? Um, but I can understand why they're seeing it because Krylov's an animal. He'll come at you hard. He'll come at you aggressive. He'll take you down. He'll press you against the cage. He'll try and chase those submissions, but he's also very heavy-handed. He swings wild. Do you know what I mean? All it takes is one or two, and he's probably going to crack him. And we know Reyes' chin isn't the best. And he's took some hard losses there. But if Krylov's going to win, it's probably going to be by knockout because Reyes has never been submitted, and I think he's got a decent takedown defense on him. But I feel like Reyes is on his way back. I feel like this could be his time to shine. Number 11 going up against number 8. Krylov's still number 8, which is again crazy. Been out for 2 years, so I think Reyes keeps him at distance. He uses the southpaw kicks to the body, the 1-2s, the looping hooks. I'm gonna probably go with Reyes by maybe decision, but he could knock him out. Could knock him out in the later rounds.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, that should tell you
What do you
about the
want?
division, bro. That he's still number 8. How shitty that fucking division is, bro. Fucking Hotan came in and just fucking said, "Boop," insane.
It's a
Anyways,
crazy division, though. I mean, it's still a dangerous division, right? These guys got KO power. They're big boys.
yeah, yeah, but I mean, I don't see it as it used to be, where it was like the best division out of all the divisions in the UFC. So Connor came, and then like the 155ers, then that became the because we always had some banger fights at 155 that people didn't really watch. Like let's say
Yeah.
what's a good one? The trilogy of what's his name? Blah. Their names. I can't even think of their names right now, bro.
Of who? Nate
Uh
Diaz and Con.
no, dude. What's his name? From New York, Frankie Edgar and
Oh, Gray Maynard.
Ray Maynard. That's the one.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
like
great
people don't
fighter.
remember that because the 205 division was peak, you know, like that's where all the celebrities were watching. Like now, people see like where the stars are at, but right now the 155 division is the best division to me in the whole UFC.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, Dom. I mean, the people he's lost to, and that I think he's finally, like you said, he's finally coming back from that loss to John Jones because I think that's still like damn, dude, and like
yeah.
thinking he won that, like him, you know, like obviously like people see it differently, but he thought he won that fight. I thought he won that fight. Yeah, and then losing the people he lost to, they went on to become champions. So yeah, I don't know how he's an underdog, like you guys said. I can see him knocking him out or getting a decision here. I like Dominic, man. This is a good bet. Dominic Reyes underdog. If you're not betting this, insane. But I mean, no disrespect to Nikita, but yeah, that's shoulder surgery. That shit don't sit well with me. And then just the layoff too, you know. Just Dominic be more active. You know, it's
Yep.
I'll give the edge. Just like being in there, no matter who he's fought. Like you said, what's his name? Anthony Smith. You know, like
Yep.
no disrespect to Anthony Smith, he's on his way out. You can tell he doesn't want to get hit in the face anymore. Like he does want to get hit on purpose or whatever. Like it's just like a drug to him. But yeah, you
Mhm.
know, don't want to talk about too much about Anthony Smith. But yeah, but not to knock down. Like it's Anthony Smith. He's still a great fucking fighter, dude. Like I'd be scared to step into him. Like I know there's fighters. I bet you Dom was scared to go in there with him. But you know, once you're in there and you see like okay, but yeah, I'm gonna rock with Dom Reyes, man. I've always been a Dom Reyes
And
fan, and
and the mindset that Anthony Smith was in that fight, where he just wanted to get into a brawl. He didn't really give a shit about winning or losing, because of the loss that he felt, with his best friend. He
yeah,
just wanted to go into a brawl, and that makes a dangerous motherfucker, you
yeah,
know, regardless. But I agree with both of yous that, one, I'm perplexed as to why Nikita opened up as such a moderate favorite over Dominic Reyes. You look at Reyes' physique in his last fight and even lately compared to how he looked even when he fought John Jones. It seems like Reyes is taking his training very seriously. His physique looks great. He looks strong. He looks fit. And he's not plagued with these, you know, serious injury issues. To me, those are factors, variables that are negative that I count against you. When you're coming off a major surgery and then back, into the octagon, and this is his first fight back from major surgery with a 2-year layoff. Um, that being said, Krylov has skills. He's got some real skills, and that in itself makes this fight a coin flip to me. Regardless of layoff, regardless of the surgery. Um, but it gives Dominic Reyes that puncher's chance. He's got like an 82% takedown defense, which is going to be huge when Krylov tries to, shoot, and can't secure the takedown, but takes punishment in return.
yeah.
He's going to get exhausted by round two. That shit ain't going to even fly by round three if it even gets there. I got Reyes winning as well. The Sims got Reyes winning 72% of the time, 60% of them by KO. So it has it winning round two, KO, Dominic Reyes. I'm taking Dominic Reyes, round two, KO as well. I bet Reyes KO at a plus 330. I think that there's a lot of value there. The under 2.5 rounds is in play, or the fight doesn't go the distance. I would probably prefer the under 2.5 rounds. Um, but those are the bets that are live for me, and this is going to be my dog of the week, Dominic Reyes, to win
Ooh, there it
KO.
is.
We've been waiting for it.
Yeah. It's a scary card though, bro. Like even
Yeah.
the favorites, like dude, like there's like too many parlay killers on this shit. Like
It
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
man. And there was a couple spots, where I found dogs.
Yeah,
Cedricus Dumas is a live dog for me in this fight. Treson Gore could be a live dog, but
you only
Julio
picked
looks nasty.
you only picked the you only said Cedric because you couldn't say Olajaychuk. Oh,
Let me try it.
there
Michael Olejchuk.
you
Did I
go.
did I say it? Olejchuk.
Olajaychuk. Olajaychuk.
Oh yeah,
Michelle,
motherfucker.
that's it. You know.
Michelle Olajaychuk.
Shout
Let's
out to
go.
Michelle. Shout out to Michelle.
I was like, dude, I was like, damn, I can't believe we skipped that, dude. I've been practicing all week just to get the shit right, dog. I'm not letting these motherfuckers skip it. I gotta say it. That was good, man.
Brilliant.
Next up, we got half of the UFC 320 Guadalajara main event, Yair Rodriguez versus UFC debutant Patricio Pitbull Freire. Yair opening up as minus 198 favorite to Patricio's 164 dog odds. I actually like Yair in this fight, and I actually feel like this press conference put some motivation and some fire under him to be violent. He can tend to be a point fighter sometimes. He has intention when he fights, but when Yair is pissed, when he's emotional, he fights fucking nasty. And I think that's exactly what he needed for Patricio. Wherever this motivation came from, whether it's Lopez or some old beef that they must have had with each other. I think this is exactly what Yair needed to focus that aggression on this debutante. Patricio's been through some wars, man. He's been through some miles, as Bisping put it. What are you thinking, Wolf? Yair
Well,
or the new guy?
well. So for me, this was a difficult one. It still is a difficult one, especially now. Like you say, the press conference kind of changed things a little bit. Little fire under Yair's ass, to put it bluntly. Do you know what I mean? Yair for me is one of the most exciting fighters I've ever seen. I will never, never get bored of watching a Yair fight. I love the way he moves, love the way he flows, the fact that he just pulls shit out of thin air, and you go, "What the fuck was that?" Do you know what I mean? But Pitbull is probably the best fighter to come out of Bellator. He's, multiple weight champion. He was their poster boy. He's, I feel like it's a couple of years too late. I would have liked to have seen him come
Hey,
in.
don't disrespect MVP. What's going
Oh
on
no,
here?
hey, listen, I ain't got to disrespect MVP. Let
Come
me
on,
say,
man.
no, you know MVP's my boy. But Pitbull, man, Pitbull was like,
Yeah.
he was going up in weight. He was chasing, belts. He was knocking out Michael Chandler. Do you know what I mean? He was getting, he done it all. In Bellator, he did it all. And he comes at you hard. I think Pitbull is a great nickname for him because he's like a little fucking dog that will chase you down. With Yair, though, he'll try and pick you apart and snipe you and come out just guns blazing. So this is really, really interesting. Now, Pitbull's older, but Yair's taller. He's a little bit more skilled in the striking department, but Pitbull's more skilled in the grappling department. Not saying Yair hasn't got grapple. He's got grappling, he's got subs, but Pitbull, he's got it all. He's more well-rounded. Yair's more unorthodox. He, like I say, look at the Korean Zombie fight. He was losing that fight. He was on his way to a decision loss and then came out with that elbow out of nowhere. So he can get you when you least expect it. Tough call. Very exciting fight. Could possibly be a fight of the night contender. But I think maybe I was going Pitbull by decision. I was. But now, I don't know. There's a Yair Rodriguez knockout could be looming. I'm not sure. That'll be a big upset, but I feel like if I had to pick one, I'm probably going to go with Pitbull decision. And it's difficult to say that, I've got to admit. What about Foo?
Yeah, man. Yeah, Yair's ground game. It's he's good, you know. He's got good stuff, but he's not as well rounded as Pitbull, you know. He wants you to like go to the ground with him, you know. If a wrestler can get over his guard, then it's game over, you know, because he doesn't know what to do. Then he'll panic. And but I think if this fight would have happened like 4 years ago, oh man, would have been a different fucking story.
Different story. Yep.
I wish most of those fighters now Bellator's dead, so can't really do anything about it. Hopefully they get Patchy, and you know, before it's too late, because he's still hot. We want to see
Patchy
him.
mix, yeah.
We want to see him while the iron's still hot. I wish, you know, I'm a big Pitbull fan. Everything that just Red Wolf just said, I couldn't have said it. You know, like he's done it all. You know, everybody loved watching Pitbull fight. His wars with Michael Chandler. It's just I gotta walk with Yair on this one.
Yeah.
It's then the hype, you know, the hype for the Diego Lopez fight. It sucks that they had to take away from their own fights, you know, because you have to concentrate on your own fight. But hey, the press conference was dead, so shout out to them for saving the press conference. I maybe your sub, bro. I like your sub. Second round.
I feel like people are forgetting that Patricio Pitbull lost to Anthony Pettis' little brother.
Oh yeah,
you know,
and
after that, you know, I was like, man, maybe Father Time, you know, has caught up with Patricio, and maybe a couple of the wheels are starting to fall off, you know, because he has been in some wars, you know, and he has, you know, a lot of fights under his belt. What is this, 43 fights, you know, professional fights under his belt. So I just feel like, yeah, momentum, emotion, skill, right? As far as striking, certainly advantage Jair. And Patricia, and then we got reach advantage issue, where
you're muted.
Let's see here.
Oh yeah, and then hey, he lost to Pettis, and then that he went to Ryzen and lost to Chichiro Suzuki, dude.
Yeah. I mean, that's one thing I'm worried about is the age of people. You know,
he got chin, dude. I'm like, That's why I like Yair too, by KO, like the kicks and all that and the wrestling. But not the wrestling, the kicks and the punches and all that karate shit. But I like the sub too.
We should be back.
There you go.
Stupid ass technology.
But yeah,
man. But as I'm saying,
him getting slept in Ryzen.
Yeah, you know, and he's got a lot of wear, right? There's some wheels that are probably starting to fall off on him, you know, and Yair's got the better striking for sure, and the motivation. So I'm taking Yair. The Sims agree, right? They like Yair. 58% of the time, 35% by decision. They give him a 20% chance to win by KO. But I think Patricio is just way too durable to get knocked out. I think Yair's going to win by points. Could be a split decision. Going to definitely be an exciting fight. But I'm certainly looking forward to that Yair versus Diego Lopez fight.
Yeah, definitely happening. Dana White was salivating watching that. You know what I mean?
What's that
He was like licking his lips and like, whoa, you know.
Hey, no, but this is a win-win too. Like if he does win, like Pitbull starches him and shit. Like it's good for the UFC, you know. Like, oh, we got another star, you know. Like it's like,
hey, yeah, totally. You know, I mean, it'd be great for him, shitty for Yair, right? Yair's got something to lose too, right? Doesn't want to lose to Bellator's boy. You know, you're almost sort of like keeping
he's on a 2-loss fight streak, man.
Yeah, you're keeping the what's the word that I'm trying to the sanctity of the UFC,
the brand,
right? You're protecting the brand of the UFC, letting them know like, you know, we're the best fucking fighters over here. No matter who else, where else, if you're not in the UFC, you're second class. You know, you're not first class. You're not the A side. You're the B side. And so that is some pressure on Yair to deal with that. I think he rises to it, but I think it's going to be a fun fight to watch too. But I don't think it's going to be as fun as the next fight, which has been highly anticipated. I am so glad that these guys didn't injure themselves during training camp, or at least severely enough to have this fight canceled. They've been very entertaining in all their press conferences and the buildups to this fight. Red Wolf had a fucking viral tweet of Bryce Mitchell holding up the Bible, exorcising Jean Silva's demons inside the octagon. I thought that was fucking clever. But this fight, man, this could be its own main event. Jean Silva versus Bryce Mitchell. We got Jean Silva opening up as a sizable favorite, minus 325 in the odds books, versus Bryce Mitchell opening up as a plus 260 dog. Could Jean Silva be overpriced in this fight? I know a lot of money is just people are just throwing their money.
Yeah,
Silva right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is like I say, this is the Exorcist in fight form. You know what I mean?
Actually, I see a lot of. My bad, I didn't mean to cut you off. I see a lot of people leaning Bryce, man. I've seen a lot of people leaning Bryce this week. Were you saying about the Pope and the Exorcist stuff?
Yeah. The Pope's Exorcist. This is the fight version. You know what I mean? You know, but I mean, I think we could, you could easily see a repeat of the Josh Emmett KO. But feelings aside and all that, Jean isn't Cron Gracie, and I think Bryce Mitchell could have his hands full with him. But Jean has never fought a grappler and jiu-jitsu specialist like Bryce Mitchell. So this is classic grappler versus striker. Who's gonna weather the storm? Is Bryce gonna take him down? If Bryce takes him down, does he have his way with him? If they stay standing, Jean Silva has his way with him. Is he gonna clip him? Is he gonna take him out? Is he gonna do the whole in the face and all that? Is he gonna distract him? And fair play to Paddy Mitchell. He's been coming out with some great lines. The whole, I put a lot of dogs down in my time. That was brilliant. Well done. You can't fault that. That was funny. I got to give him that. But this is a really, really exciting fight. It is hyped to fuck. Both guys don't like each other. You can tell that. They really do not like each other. But something feels off about this. I don't know what it is. In a good way, not in a bad way. I feel like Jean could clip him and absolutely starch him. There's no doubt about that. And that's probably where I'm leaning to. But I wouldn't be surprised if Mitchell can drag him down. And if he does, he could submit him. And you could see a really big upset here. But my lean is towards Jean knocking his head so far back he thinks the earth's round again. You know what I mean?
There's only one video really circulating around that's trying to petition for Bryce Mitchell, and it's been put out by MMA Guru of the Jourdain versus Silva fight, where Charles Jourdain was, going for chain wrestling, right? Because he was getting outgunned in the stand-up, so he started utilizing his wrestling, and you can start seeing the clips of him taking down Silva, right? But what you're not seeing is him controlling Silva on the ground. He's taking him down. They scramble. Silva gets back up, right? Attacks. Those sequences happen a couple times, and what's left out of the MMA Guru clip is the fucking vicious uppercut that puts Jourdain's lights out as he's trying to come in for the fucking takedown.
Yeah.
And so the question then is, Silva has a couple different ways to win, right? He can knock Bryce Mitchell out, or he can win by decision via point. Mitchell really only has one path to victory, and that's submission. And in order to get that, he has to face severe danger, serious hazards, right? To get to that position. So the question is, because I think he'll be able to get Silva down. I think we're going to see that. I think we're going to see Bryce Mitchell getting down, and everyone's like, oh! But then we're going to see Silva get up, and people be like, huh?
Mm.
And it might happen a couple times. And if that shit happens like 3 times, Mitchell's gas tank is fucking gone.
Yeah.
His heart, gone.
Yeah.
His hopes and aspirations, gone.
They're going to be flat. They're going to be flat, aren't they?
Father, why hast thou forsaken me? You're fucking saying that in the middle of the octagon as he's looking up, asking, what happened? Blood streaming from his forehead. I see a John Mitchell KO, man. I think that his fight IQ and his understanding that this is Mitchell's only path to victory is going to make the knees and the elbows up the middle dangerous. It's going to make the counter strikes dangerous. It's going to make the scrambles dangerous. I got John Silva, and I don't think he's as big of a favorite. I think, you got to tame that down, but I think he still is a favorite. Got it, it's 64% chance to win. Minus 178 odds, what I got him at, despite the grappling advantage. But the Sims don't agree with me here. They like Mitchell. They like his grappling prowess. But the sanitized portion of the Sims is that it doesn't understand the real threat that Mitchell has to face for 3 rounds to get to that decision. And we've known that Mitchell's durability is totally in question. So I'm leaning Silva by KO.
What about Foo? I feel like Foo's on the fighting train.
Yeah, no, I'm John Silva, man. I think it was crazy how Dana just or John Silva's like, I'll knock this fool out. What's up? And then they're like, all right, let's do it. They didn't even think about it, like right away.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, bro, it's a little sus. Like, oh my God, this might actually happen. He's gonna fucking get his head knocked the fuck out.
Yeah.
I think the bigger ups are like, yeah, I don't know about this guy either. This guy's who could be his next opponent. Everybody wanted him to get all the fans after what was said, and like I'm a Bryce Mitchell. Yeah. I'm a Bryce Mitchell fan. I try to, with anything, I try to separate the art from the artist as much as I can, to a point. And it's like, okay, whatever. And doesn't sway me from like picking fights, obviously. But I just think this is like a crazy matchup. Like everything that Von touched on, like this guy just goes decisions. I don't see him getting a sub because all he does is hold people down or get knocked the hell out, So, and in Kron Gracie fight, don't even get me started on that fight, bro. I can knock out Kron Gracie probably, bro. No disrespect to Gracie.
Yeah.
But yeah,
going
shit. I'm a rock with. And you know what? Like, I get it. Like, it's good money going for Bryce decision. Like, but nah, dude. I think the uppercut, like you said, against that clip. Yeah, they didn't show the whole clip. They didn't show what happened at the end of the fight. So yeah, show that part.
Yeah, that's what Freire does. He takes little things and makes a narrative.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think we're all rocking with Silva on this one. I think. And he's ready for. Hey, if he does, man, he's ready for stardom for sure. And I'm excited.
100% sure. 100%, he's ready for stardom. Yes. Another person that might be ready for stardom, and I think definitely has become a fan favorite. Co-main event: Paddy the Baddy Pimblett against Michael Chandler. We got Paddy
Come on,
Pimblett.
Oh, it's Paddy,
oh,
the
Paddy the
Paddy, the
Baddy.
Paddy.
Oh,
Oh, it's
Oh,
Paddy
Paddy,
Paddy the
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 Baddy.
Paddy.
Baddy. Yeah, it's
Oh,
gonna go
Paddy.
crazy, bro. I Chandler, bro. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with that dude. If it's CTE, if it's just marketing, what his deal is. He can lose and then talk shit and start trying to set up his next fight. But I don't believe a fucking thing he says. I don't believe him as a fighter. I don't believe in his skills.
We call
I
that road
think he's
rage. Roid rage.
roid rage. Yeah. And I don't like the way he fights. I think that Patty has something, he's onto something when he calls him I don't think he's cheating, but he's a somewhat dirty fighter. He hit Oliveira how many times in the back of the head? He
Yeah.
grabs the fence. He'll fucking poke your eyes. He'll kick you in the nuts. I guess if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. That's his motto. But, he shit talked his way once again to a co-main event fight against, an up and coming potential title contender and Paddy Pimblett. I feel this is Pimblett's time to shine. He looked great. Have you guys seen him in the embedded?
He's ripped to fuck.
He looks
He's
phenomenal.
I've met Paddy a few times in person. He's a lot bigger than people think. Do you know what I mean? And as usual, people will keep underestimating him and his skills. You just see the loudmouth scouser with the funny haircut. Do you know what I mean? But his skills are undeniable, man. People keep putting him down. And he's even said it himself. Like, even if he beats Chandler, they're gonna move the goalposts and say, "Oh, Chandler's washed. He's not a real fighter." This and the other. It's all bullshit. But this is a massive fight for both, to be honest, because Chandler's gonna, he's got something to prove. He needs to beat the up and comer and show that he's still relevant. Paddy's got to beat this guy to rise up in the rankings and chase that title shot, which is what he's going for. Do you know what I'm saying? So Chandler needs to win more than Paddy does, but Paddy needs this win to keep proving, look, I am better than you think I am. Do you know what I mean? And I'm coming for gold. Don't get me wrong, though. Don't get me wrong. Can Chandler knock him out? Absolutely. Do you know what I mean? Chandler is built like a tank and hits like a fucking truck. And it's a worry. Same way last week was a worry when Lerone was fighting Emmett. I was very worried about Emmett's power. I'm worried about Chandler's power in this. But the only thing is, Chandler seems to throw his game plan out the window and just starts becoming, very hittable. And I think Paddy could either knock him out, and I think he could. I do think he could knock him out. But if anything, I think he takes him to the ground, and I think he subs him. I think that we're going to see a really, really nice, clean squeeze either on the. I think it's going to be a choke. I think it's either going to be signature triangle or it's going to be a rear naked. But yeah, Paddy this by sub. I do just before we carry on. Big shout out to Steve Simpson. Paddy's uncle. He's going through some tough times at the moment. And I know that Paddy's going to go in there. He's going to get this win. And he's going to dedicate it to Steve. So shout out to Steve Simpson right there.
Yeah, shout out to Steve, man. Big Steve.
Definitely one of the homies.
Follow for a
we love to
follow.
support Steve. And also Jim, fucking casuals. He's also going through a rough time. He just lost his mom. So, shout out to him and his family. Prayers are up to the homies for sure. Yeah, I got Paddy by submission also in this one. Yeah, there's danger definitely in Michael Chandler, but that danger is only in round one. After round one, that gas tank is over, and he's just a fucking tank that's just out in the air waiting for, one of those, drones to drop a bomb on it and just devastate it. And that's Michael Chandler, a sitting duck after round one. I got Paddy Pimblett submitting him round two. Pimblett submitted Jordan Levitt, who's another specialist, in such a way that was so impressive, that it made Levitt look like a white belt. That blew my mind. I got Pimblett by submission, round two.
Let's go. Yeah, even I like Michael Chandler. Don't get me wrong, man. He's an exciting fighter. He goes in there. Obviously, the gas tank isn't that. You know, what's his Dan Hooker? He had something to prove. You know, I felt like that fight he had something to prove, so he came in strong. Everybody thinks because of the way Paddy fights, Michael's gonna go in there and knock him out first round, second round, put him to sleep. You know, I don't see that at all. I can because people they're comparing a bunch of stuff like when he started this and that. Like it's a whole different level. We're not there anymore. I think Paddy submits him too. I think Paddy can get a KO too, a TKO. You know, like Paddy likes to stand and bang too. Don't get me wrong, man. If you throw him, he's gonna throw him back. That's what makes him dangerous. That's what makes him funny. No matter where the fight's at, he's gonna do it. And I remember DC, his first fight, when he's like, "Oh, he's a fighter, boy. He's a fighter." And then Bisping's like, "No, but he's leaving." He's like, "Nah, he's a fighter." He's like, "Shut up, Bisping," because Bisping was trying to say that
It was Hayden, yeah.
his chin was too high.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's where that famous line came from. "I'm a scout, sir. We don't get knocked out." I was a fan from him of his before he got into the UFC, so I was very excited when I could never pick against Paddy Pimblett. When he fought my boy what's his name from Mexico. He fought that Mexican kid.
All right, so we got three Paddy Pimbletts by submission.
Yeah.
Check out the next video. We're going to break down the main event between Alexander Volkanovski and Diego Lopez. Shout out to the homie. Shout out to DJ MTK. Love all you guys. We out.
Late.